We're here in Glacier Bay National Park, and it's really a place we can showcase some of the best features of our brand new National Geographic Quest. The big, beautiful windows all around, the railings, the viewing platforms both on the bow and the stern of the ship make this perfect for viewing the wildlife and landscapes in 360 degrees.
We're seeing puffins, common murres, and massive stellar sea lions. Ranger is taking attendance out of the bow.
At South Marble Island, first off in our day in Glacier Bay, we had incredible wildlife watching opportunities where we saw a whole host of seabirds using the island. South Marble Island, we also see stellar sea lions, massive stellar sea lions, bigger than their cousins, the California sea lions, using this place as a refuge from predators.
Mother Nature. Speaking to us this morning, eh?
One of the next places we reach is Gloomy Knob. And here at Gloomy Knob, we see a coastal brown bear and a black cub foraging at the low tide line.
Saw a brown bear with its cub. Really pretty brown bear.
We see mountain goats reaching all the way down to the shoreline and hiding in the shade on this beautiful and sunny Southeast Alaska day.
Up the crevice thing, and then on a green patch on the left of the green patch.
He jumped the ledge. Like, we saw him like preparing, and then he just jumped to the other side. It was great.
What a day. Can't beat this.
Whoa, there you go.
Nothing's going to happen over here. They're probably going to be over here. This is right in here. That's where the action's going to be.
The whole thing's moving. I suspect the center moves faster than the sides, so that the center would be the ones to cap most of the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We're at the Marjorie Glacier, and it's gray and beautiful, and we're seeing this amazing old ice that is like nothing we've ever seen before. It's beautiful with the mist and the glacier and the ice in the water and this beautiful blue cast to the ice. It's really lovely.
Watching a male moose walking along the shore, it's really kind of fun watching him splash around. And we were hoping he'd swim toward us, but no, he's walking on his way. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
With that colour, do you reckon that's a chocolate moose?
What a fun morning so far. We've seen quite a bit. I got a little otter going by sleeping, and the calving this morning earlier was just wonderful. There, I got a little panorama. It's might even be in focus. And with my 80 pounds of camera gear that I brought along, I'm using this more than I thought I would.
Today, we are in Glacier Bay National Park. This is one of my absolute favorite places in the whole world. Glacier Bay National Park is 3.3 million acres of wilderness, and we have everything here. We have snow-capped mountains, we have this fjord carved by the glaciers, which we're going to see today, and an abundance of wildlife.
On the left, there's a series of shrubs, like 4 or 5 of them all in a row, and then there's an opening.
Yeah.
The bears are centered in that opening.
They're little black dots.
Little black dots, and one is a littler than the other.
Yeah, it's really hard up there.
There's a bird right next to them.
I think I see them. Are there two?
Yeah, there's two. One, the mama's right there, the baby's right
That's so
behind.
cool. I'm amazed how shallow they've got.
You see them?
Yeah, I see them.
They're going right behind the bush.
I see them.
We saw a few bears, mountain goats, a whale, what else? Sea otters, sea lions, puffins, and seals.
Good day, huh?
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's been wonderful, an experience of a lifetime. Just being able to witness Mother Nature at her finest with the power of the ice and the glaciers that formed the Earth still here. So it's been great.
Look at the feet behind. These Superman. It's so cool.
Welcome to Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve. My name is Emma Johnson. I'm a park ranger here. Glacier Bay is an incredible national park and UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's wildlife throughout the bay. We'll be looking for sea otters, stellar sea lions, tufted puffins, bald eagles, maybe a large furry animal on the beach like a brown bear or a moose. And of course, we're going to be looking for glaciers. Glacier Bay has more than 1,000 glaciers, and a handful of these are tidewater glaciers that come down all the way to the water. Tidewater glaciers are giants in the glacier world. They may be half a mile to 2 miles across, several hundred feet thick, and anywhere from just touching the water to extending 100 feet below the tidal water. Glacier Bay is a wilderness park. It is 24 million acres of wilderness when you count the other parks it connects to. And one really special thing about Glacier Bay is its wilderness waters. That means there's no roads, there's no buildings, there's no parking lots. It's all untouched by humans. So traveling on a small boat is really the best way and almost the only way to get up close and personal to Glacier Bay National Park.
Hi, I'm Arlene Fessler and I'm on the National Geographic Seabird. We're in Alaska. Glacier Bay was huge and almost overwhelming to its size and its beauty. Seeing the brown bears were very exciting. We experienced everything we could. Wind, rain, snow. Pretty much got the taste of Alaska. The glaciers are phenomenal. And today was a big day for the glacier. It calved several times over and over in one particular spot. And you were just almost waiting for the very big calf to happen. That's my first time I've ever experienced that. It's been very rewarding. It's been a fast trip, a great trip. But I will definitely go away with a very spiritual growth from this.
Last night at midnight we entered Glacier Bay National Park, and it was in this green grandeur of the Northern Lights. And in 6 years it was the most spectacular entry into Glacier Bay that I've ever witnessed. For me, Glacier Bay is a place that keeps calling me back. It is a place that is both comfortable and yet full of discovery, a place that is always new and different every single day.
This is one of the few advancing glaciers in the country.
And then of course we saw magnificent calving today. Doesn't do that all the time.
Look at it! Look at it! Oh. Look at that wave.
What do you say?
Side, and then it was dropping on the bottom. It can't stand.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm National Park Ranger John Buckheit, and we have been traveling today 65 miles north into Glacier Bay National Park through the bay. 65 miles back in time, following the route of the giant glacier that filled this bay 250 years ago. We had a chance to visit South Marble Island, a small little island out in the middle of the bay that was ground down by the glacier but was left as a great nesting habitat for a great variety of birds and stellar sea lions. A chance to see the tufted puffins hanging out on the water there, as well as at least two horned puffins, a real rarity to see this far south in Alaska. Had a chance to witness common murres, there's penguins of the north, and pelagic cormorants, as well as those large and charismatic stellar sea lions that like to climb out on the rocks there and rest in between meals after they've been fishing for some of the abundant food resources in the bay here.
First time I've ever seen puffin. It's really exciting, and our grandson wanted to see sea otters. I wanted to see puffin. I'm happy.
My name is Laura Lee Ritchie, and I'm a deckhand on the National Geographic Seabird, and I'm from Floral City, Florida, traveling through southeast Alaska with Lindblad Expeditions, and today we visited Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve. Glacier Bay is part of a 3.3 million acre wilderness preserve. Among the majestic mountains and the thick mossy forests, we have lots of wildlife to be seen, mammals and birds. Today we traveled 65 miles north up the bay to visit Marjorie Glacier in Tar Inlet. It's been a beautiful day here in Glacier Bay, and we've had a wonderful chance to experience the raw wilderness of southeast Alaska.
Today, July 4th, we were able to get into Johns Hopkins, one of our most magnificent glaciers, 250 feet high from the water to the top of those towers. And we had a chance to see some ice falls, some seals on bergs. Doesn't get better than that.
There it is.
So this is July 4th, 2019, and we're here in Alaska appreciating what this country is all about in a sense of nature, how we are free to appreciate this magnificent land. Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt, what they did for posterity is so impressive to me.
When we got our first national park, which was Yellowstone, over 100 years ago, the idea of our national parks had not spread around the world, and now it has. And our parks are breathing room. They're space to reflect. They're a place that we can go exploring outside the wonders and inside, a place of quiet, a place of repose, a place of tranquility. I hope our national parks are around another 100 years. Can't think of a better place to spend the 4th of July.
Glacier Bay National Park gives us a chance to unplug, gives us a chance to experience wilderness in one of the largest protected wilderness areas on our planet. In the words of Robert McFarlane, most of us exist for most of the time in worlds which are humanly arranged, themed, and controlled. One forgets that there are environments which do not respond to the flick of a switch or the twist of a dial, and which have their own rhythms and order of existence. I hope that when people leave Glacier Bay National Park, it's understood as a spiritual and ancestral homeland, and that it is an honor for us all to be able to share that. I hope that they see this place as a living laboratory, one where we can study how the world around us works.
We spent today in Glacier Bay. It was a beautiful place. We've seen a tremendous amount of wildlife. We've seen many glaciers. The thing that hit me first is just how massive they are. I've never seen anything like it before, really. Well, the weather today was gorgeous. It was sunny and clear. Enough clouds to make the pictures look better. I mean, it's beautiful. The whole trip is beautiful, even when you're not looking at something specific. The scenery is gorgeous, and it's just fun even to walk around the boat and look.
John Muir was an adventurer, a scientist, and an impassioned writer. And he came up to Glacier Bay on rumor that there was a bay full of ice, full of a glacier that might provide him answers to explain the landscape he loved, Yosemite. John Muir braved terrible conditions to gather evidence that helped the scientific community formalize their concepts of how glaciers really can change a landscape. It wasn't his only visit, though. He came multiple times to this place because there was more than just geology to uncover here. He was inspired by this wild environment, and through that inspiration, convinced thousands, if not millions of people to follow in his footsteps. He was truly one of the fathers of the conservation movement.
People brag about having stuff.
I think Glacier Bay can offer us really profound wilderness experiences because there are no signs of civilization. There are no roads here. There are no buildings. There is only a landscape, one that is relatively new and one that is constantly unfolding in front of our eyes. We now have a vibrant ecosystem just coming back to life. From destruction is now creation. And in that space, in that rebirth process, is real hope and inspiration. I can only hope that people can come and try to appreciate that in their day in Glacier Bay.
The Marjorie and the Grand Pacific Glaciers are two very spectacular tidewater glaciers. There are two glaciers that most ships that visit Glacier Bay go to see, and we got a chance to see why. As we started to approach the glaciers, the inlet there was chock full of giant icebergs that had recently calved off the face of the Marjorie Glacier. And as we got closer to the glacier, within about a quarter of a mile, we also got a chance to see that glacier calving and hear it, of what the Tlingit natives call white thunder. Got a chance to see a whole slab of ice fall off the face of that tidewater glacier, fall and splash in the water, and saw that ice spinning in the water before it started to traverse across the face of the glacier.
had been cruising along, going north along the shore, and suddenly we saw wolves. Wolves, very rare to see, very shy animals, incredibly difficult. Sometimes years go by without us seeing them. Now they're there, 5 wolves sitting and watching the fish in the river.
As we were watching the wolves, we also had an opportunity of seeing very near a sow with 3 cubs. They were working along the rocks on the seaside, overturning rocks, eating little invertebrates, and the young ones are imitating the mother in all her ways of trying to eat, find food, and overturn rocks.
We are Les and Estelle Reed, and we are from Tacoma, Washington. And we are guests on board the National Geographic Seabird. We were at Glacier Bay, at the head of Glacier Bay.
I think the thing that I was impressed with was we were able to see 4 mountain goats, which looked just like little white dots until the boat stopped and you got them in your binoculars, and one of them had a baby with her. And then on the way back, on the way up and back, we saw a total of about 6 brown bears right on the beach area. And some of them were kind of foraging and some were just kind of looking at the world. So we had the tiny animal population versus the huge fjord-like water, and then the tremendous glacier, which has been there for umpteen centuries.
As we neared South Marble Island, the first thing that we saw were all of these various kinds of birds. And then as you came around the corner, the haul-out place for the sea lions, and they were lying all over each other, some in the water, others trying to get up, some trying to prevent the ones in the water from getting in. It was just chaotic and very exciting.
Mother Nature at its highest, from little tiny crabs to huge brown bears, tremendous glaciers, and it's just something that you can't appreciate until you see it.